No! Why Bastoni? Who said Bastoni?
Yep. Oh my God.
Why?
We are not a smart team. Any intelligent team, when they're 1-0, does not play.
Is it a goal?
Yeah, it's a goal. Unbelievable. I mean, it's so obvious. This guy DiMarco's backing up. He's backing up. He's backing up. He's backing up. Well done, guys.
Got 4 chances
Well
to
done.
score. 4 chances to score.
Well done.
I can't believe it.
Well done, guys. 3 World Cups. 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 You guys suck. You guys suck. You guys suck. How? How in the world? How, guys? How? I can't believe it. And I can believe it. Right when we went into the playoffs, we knew. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable, these guys.
Is this kind of the norm now? Because we were talking about it earlier, and Jeff is like, this is the 3rd World Cup. There's generations of Italians, now a generation, the younger one, that have yet to ever see Italy in a World Cup. Is this becoming the norm? Can they turn it around?
You know, this is a morning show. It's supposed to be bright and cheery, but it's going to feel like a funeral procession because this is absolutely the norm. Me and Marco Messina 2 weeks ago predicted Italy would not go through. We've seen the writing on the wall. I've been doing this job now for 15 years covering Serie. I've said there's not one world-class Italian outfield player on the team. All we have is our history. All we have is the successes from previous decades. And that's it. So we're just hanging on that as this quote-unquote elite football nation, but we're not an elite football nation. We're a nation that can't make 3 straight World Cups. So we are pretty much irrelevant in the football landscape, and that's the harsh truth of it. This team did not deserve to go through. They have no leaders, and I know this because I saw Pio Esposito, a kid that just turned 20 years old, being sent out to the Wolves to take the first penalty. How any leader would let that kid now almost ruin his entire personality and his confidence by going out, and you could tell he was terrified. And I said right before he took it, he's going to sky it. And of course he skied it. You could see it all unfolding and unraveling. The second that Bastoni made that horror challenge, it was over. This team does not have the personality. They don't have the leaders. The only leaders are the people on the sideline who are wearing suits that actually know what it's like to be winners.
Matteo, I mean, this is going to be a mega charged question that perhaps deserves a dissertation in an answer. How do we go from the delicate finishing of Del Piero, world-class strikers that you've had, even like the French, like Gilardino, right? Gilardino was never at that level, but Gilardino played with swag. He played with he was sneaky. De Rossi with the tackles, Gattuso with the fire, Nesta in the back. Let's not even go so far back. Bonucci, Chiellini from even more recent days to what we have now that just it feels uninspiring.
You know those famous 900 pages now that everyone's talking about Baggio? Marco Messina touched upon a few of the points. There's another one. Baggio knew that from the youth level, they had to focus on skill, 1v1 in training, a lot of dribbling, a lot of ways to create technically gifted players. They've not done that. They left them basically on unread and just did their own thing. These people who are raccomandati, who are only there because of their connections and not because of merit. The Italians just don't have one player. I saw the best player on the pitch is a kid from Appleton, Wisconsin, Esmir Bayraktarevic, who plays in Holland. He was the only player there that I saw with a bit of guile, a bit of that ability that gets you excited about the game. The only one we had, and I use the plural had, or past tense had, is Federico Chiesa, but he's broken physically, and he couldn't even, he had to reject World Cup call-ups because he knew he could not deliver. Other than that, we didn't not have one player that had dribbling ability to take on his man one-on-one. And I was used to, when I was a teenager in the 2000s, when I saw some of the greatest players of all time all together on the pitch for Italy, players that could just invent something out of nothing, that had that otherworldly ability, not even world-class players, but generational superstars in every single line. We have nothing close to that, and it all starts from the youth level. No investment in the youth levels compared to some of the other nations that are dominating right now. publicly owned stadiums, so the teams don't get the same amount of revenue that they should, and that revenue would theoretically go towards those youth systems. So all this focus on tactical discipline and positioning, and not nearly enough focus on how to actually be footballers, because I did not see any player on the pitch yesterday that had any sort of spark of invention or dribbling or the ability to go past a team that was just going to defend. And Bosnia didn't have to defend. Bosnia played Italy with no respect, and it was only amplified after Italy went down to 10 men and looked absolutely terrified.
Matteo, you talk about not seeing that spark, not seeing that something different, which you need at international level. Are these players just not good enough, or were they inhibited by playing wearing a cloak of fear? Now, I've heard a lot of talk about the Italian players don't have the character. Or is it the two combined? They simply don't have it, or they are so terrified because of the pressure that they're under and haunted by previous failures, they're afraid to show it?
That's a great question, Jeff. And we've had the privilege of speaking to ex-Serie players from our generation, millennials and older, and coaches, current managers of Serie who all seem to complain about one thing, about this current Italian generation, this younger generation in their 20s, lacking the personality, going on team buses with headphones, not speaking to each other, constantly doom scrolling on TikTok or whatever the hell else they're looking at these days, compared to how the Italian team was in the 2000s, where they were all on the bus laughing, having jokes, camaraderie together. There's no leadership on that field. And you could tell right away. I think Calafiori and Tonali, Jeff, two players that you know very well, they can save themselves. Are they world class? I'm not sure. How do you have guys coming off the bench who barely even play for their club teams, like Frattesi? These guys on the pitch, most of them, are playing for teams that aren't fighting for any trophies. They're not playing at the highest level. They're not playing in Champions League, except maybe for the Inter block, who, for the most part, were an unmitigated disaster. These players are not good enough. And yeah, there's a few that are young that we could say, oh, the kid from Cagliari, Palestri, came on and brought a little bit of spirit. But overall, I'm not surprised. And this is the saddest thing, is that I am not surprised that they went to Bosnia. And I knew the second they would go to Bosnia in that small stadium that looked intimidating, that they would crumble. And we called it. And I hate to say I told you so, but me and Marco Messina, who have covered Italian football our whole lives, we called it 2 weeks ago. This team would not go through because we knew they don't have the personality. We've seen it in other moments. We've seen it in other big games that have nothing to do with the Italian national team.
Matteo, I mean, I'm floored to even be saying this. There's a whole generation of kids, Italian kids. There's one on the national team, right? That when he was born, Italy last won the World Cup. He's never known an Italian team that had been good outside of the Euros when it comes to the international stage. I'm talking about Pio Esposito, which is shocking to me.
Pio Esposito has never seen Italy win a knockout stage game at the
That is shocking. That is so shocking. So when you talk about the need for young talent, right, what will the ramifications of this be? Because if I'm a young player in Italy right now, if I'm a Shernador, if I'm a Michael Coyote, who I can't believe wasn't even part of this roster, right? If I'm a Berta Sagi, who I know you know very, how the hell is he not part of this? So if I'm any of these players, what do I have to look forward to? I mean, this is so damning right now on the state of Italian football all across the board.
Italian coaches, we know this very well. They're too scared of the week to week of losing their job. They're not giving a chance to the youngsters. I'm not the one saying this. Loads of players are saying this. Baggio said this. Everyone who's been around the Italian football knows that these Italian players, first of all, if you're a sporting director, it's not as sexy to go to Serie B to pluck out some kid from Foggia. You go and you try to get the foreign name, right? The Brazilian, the Eastern European. You try to be a genius and get someone that no one's heard of so everyone can give you your flowers. No one's giving time to these Italian kids in Serie B. I mean, look at the Vergara kid from Napoli. It took half the team going down with injuries for him to come on, and he looks like the best player on Napoli. This is unreal that this is constantly the situation. These Italian kids just aren't getting the necessary time to play at the highest level, to play against good opposition. Most of them are rooted to Serie B, where, I mean, it's, you're playing on potato patches half the time. Look at Federico Gatti. Federico Gatti, who played yesterday, and actually I thought was quite good. Juventus actually signed him from Serie B. There are players in the second division. There are players in the youth system that absolutely deserve more time. Why did Milan not fully go into Bartesaghi this year? Surely they knew how good he was, right? They've seen him in training. Why did they spend 18 million euro on Pervis Estupinian, who's been an absolute disaster, just like Emerson Royal the year prior, when they had players already in the youth team that could step up and play at a higher level? Because it's not sexy, because the sporting director doesn't get that moment where it's like, look, I signed the Premier League guy, I signed this guy from South America. It's not nearly as interesting for these directors to go and just say, right, let's just graduate this kid from the youth team, right?
Matteo, I'm going to give you two things. I'm going to give you Gabriel Gravina's job. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to give us your blueprint, how you solve this whole thing. You've got 30 seconds. Go.
You need to modernize. You need to put people in charge like the Badgers of the world. Whoever was concocting that 900-page essay of what to do, they had the right ideas. Gravina, if he had any decency, he'd step down today. He wants to keep his job. Gattuso is not an Italian manager. This guy's been a mercenary manager for his entire career. You can't stick around a job longer than 18 months. That's all great, but we need a proper Italian tactician there. They need to all step down if they had decency and understood the gravity of what's going on instead of being clouded by their ego.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount+.